Let me ask you something, and I want you to actually try to answer it before you keep watching. Off the top of your head, without checking your phone, how many companies are charging your card every month? Not roughly, the actual number. If you're like most people, you have no idea, but it's not really your fault. Billion-dollar industries depend on you not keeping track. Us humans are very good at signing up for things, and absolutely terrible at canceling them. So companies stopped selling you products, they started selling you subscriptions, memberships, plans, auto renewals, and easy monthly payments. Signing up takes one thumb tap. Canceling takes a password you've forgotten, a phone call, a hold queue, and a conversation with a retention specialist named Brad who's very sorry to hear you're leaving and would love to offer you 3 months at half price. That friction is not a bug in the system. That friction is the system. So today I'm going to walk you through 23 things you'll regret paying for next year. Some of them are costing you $15 a month, others are secretly costing you 6 figures over a lifetime, and you won't miss a single one of them if you quit today. Let's start with the one in your pocket. Number 1, the streaming stack you forgot about. You didn't subscribe to 5 streaming services, you subscribed to one, 5 separate times over 4 years, each time to watch one show. Here's the trap. Each one is priced below your attention threshold. $12, $16. It's less than a lunch. And the marketing wants you making exactly that comparison, one service at a time, because your brain evaluates them individually and never once evaluates the stack. Nobody ever shows you the ad that says, for $200 a month, enjoy 11 services, 4 of which you have not opened in years. Go into your settings tonight and look at what's actually renewing. Keep the ones you genuinely watch every week. Kill the rest. You will not miss them. That's the honest test. Absence is the only review that doesn't lie. Number 2. The free trial that quietly became a marriage. The free trial is the single most profitable invention in modern retail, and it works on a simple bet that you will forget. You signed up for 30 free days you meant to cancel on day 29. Day 29 arrived on a Tuesday, you were tired, the password was on a laptop you'd left at work, and it charged you. Then it charged you again, and by the 4th charge it had become part of your financial landscape. Invisible, like the hum of a refrigerator. Here's your rule going forward, and it costs you nothing. The moment you start a free trial, set a phone reminder for 2 days before it ends. Not the day of. 2 days before. That single habit will save you more money next year than most of the budgeting advice on this entire platform. Number 3, the gym membership you're not using. Let's be honest about what that $52 a month is actually buying. It isn't buying access to equipment. You haven't touched the equipment since a cold week in January. What it's buying is the right to keep calling yourself a person who works out. And gyms know this better than you do. The industry sells far more memberships than the buildings could physically hold, because the business model quietly depends on you not showing up. You not attending isn't a flaw in their model. You not attending is their model. Here's the reframe that sets people free. Canceling the membership doesn't cancel the goal. If you start going again, they will absolutely take your money back. They'll be thrilled. What you're paying for isn't fitness. It's the avoidance of one honest conversation with yourself. And $52 a month is a steep price for not having a feeling. Number 4. The subscription box. Once a month, a cardboard box arrives at your door full of things you did not choose, do not need, and would never have purchased individually. It felt fun the first 2 times. Then it became a chore. Now it's a stack of them in the corner of a room, half opened, quietly reproducing. Understand what you actually bought here. You didn't buy socks or snacks or grooming products. You bought a monthly hit of surprise. And the surprise wore off around box 3, but the charge never noticed and never stopped. Cancel it. Then look at the corner of that room and take an honest inventory of what all that surprise actually cost. Number 5. The cloud storage you outgrew once. You hit storage full on your phone 3 years ago, panicked for 12 seconds and upgraded to a bigger plan. It cost $10. It fixed the problem. It's still charging you. It has charged you every single month since, and you have never once thought about it, which is exactly the outcome that was designed. Now, this one might be worth it. Photos of your kids are worth $10 a month. That's not the point. The point is that you never decided it was worth it. The decision got made once in a panic years ago, and it has been silently renewing on that panic's authority ever since. Go look at what tier you're on. Most people are paying for multiples of the storage they actually use. Number 6, the yearly phone upgrade. Somewhere along the way, we stopped buying phones and started renting them forever. The upgrade plan is designed so you never own anything. You pay $30 or $40 a month in perpetuity to always be holding a device that is at most 18 months old, as if there were some prize for that. And here's the thing nobody says out loud. The phone from 4 years ago does everything the new one does. It sends messages. It takes photographs of your dog that are indistinguishable from the ones the new one takes. The upgrade isn't buying capability. It's buying newness, and newness has a shelf life of about 11 days. Keep the phone until it genuinely stops working. Replace the battery for a fraction of the cost. That decision alone, repeated over a working life, is worth thousands of dollars, and you will not feel one moment of deprivation. Number 7. Phone insurance. $17 a month, for years, to protect a device that costs a few $100s to replace. Run that math slowly. Pay it for 3 years and you've spent more than $600. Add the deductible you still owe when you actually break the thing, and the insurance company has comfortably won a bet you agreed to at a checkout counter in 90 seconds. Insurance exists to protect you from losses you cannot absorb. A house burning down, a hospital bill, a lawsuit. It is a terrible deal for losses you can absorb. If breaking your phone would be annoying but survivable, you don't need insurance. You need a case and a savings account. Number 8. The extended warranty. Same logic, different counter. The salesperson asks if you'd like to protect your purchase, and it's framed so that saying no feels like tempting fate. What they don't mention is that extended warranties are one of the most profitable things in the entire store. A huge share of that money is pure margin, which is precisely why the person is paid to ask. Most things either break in the first year, when the manufacturer already covers it, or they break in year 7, long after your extended warranty expired. You're not buying protection, you're buying the temporary relief of not having to think about a small risk. Say no, put the money in a boring savings account and become your own warranty department. Number 9. Dealer add-ons. You've negotiated hard on the car, you're exhausted, you think you're done, and then they walk you into a small windowless office to finish the paperwork. That room is where the dealership makes its real money. Paint protection, fabric guard, nitrogen in the tires, VIN etching, an anti-theft package, each one presented as an easy monthly figure, each one wildly marked up, and all of it added to a loan you're going to be paying interest on. For years, you will pay interest for 6 years on a spray of fabric protector. Here's the single most valuable sentence in this entire video, and it belongs in that room. I'm not adding anything today. Then say nothing. Let the silence sit there. It's their job to fill it, not yours. Number 10. The brand new car itself. And now the big one, because everything in that little office was a rounding error compared to the decision that got you into it. A new car loses roughly a fifth of its value the moment you drive it off the lot, and a huge chunk of what's left over the next few years. On a $45,000 car, that first year alone quietly vaporizes around $9,000, a number you'd riot over if a bank took it, but shrug it when a dealership does. The dealer never asks what the car costs, they ask what you can do on the monthly. And that question is how a $45,000 car becomes a $60,000 car spread across 7 years of payments in a trade-in cycle that never ends. Buy the 3-year-old version of the same car. Let someone else eat the steepest part of that curve. The car does not know it's your second hand. It will start every morning either way. Let me say that again, because it's the sentence that saves the most money in this whole list. The monthly payment is the costume the real price wears. Number 11. Buy now, pay later. 4 easy payments. It sounds like a favor. It's a magic trick performed on your sense of scale. Because a $200 jacket you cannot afford does not become affordable when it's split into 4 $50 pieces. It becomes invisible. And invisible spending is the only kind that stacks without you noticing. Then it multiplies, 4 payments on a jacket, 4 on a mattress, 4 on a gadget, all overlapping across different weeks, until you genuinely don't know what next month costs. Here's the honest test, and it's brutal. If you can't buy it outright today, you can't afford it today. That's not moralizing, that's just what the words mean. Number 12, the food delivery habit. Nobody regrets the meal, everybody regrets the receipt. Look at what you actually paid for. There's the food, marked up above menu price, then a delivery fee, then a service fee, then a tip, which the driver deserves and which is the only honest line on the whole bill. By the time it lands at your door, a $15 meal can cost you closer to $30. The convenience is real, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise. Some nights it's worth it, but 3 or 4 nights a week, it's not convenience anymore. It's a subscription to not deciding what's for dinner, and it's one of the largest, most invisible line items in a young person's budget. Number 13, the meal kit boxes piling up. The meal kit was the fix for that. Then the meal kit started arriving on Thursdays when you weren't home, and now they're in the fridge judging you. Understand what happened. You didn't have a cooking problem, you had a time problem and a tiredness problem. And a company sold you a cooking product to solve a life problem. If you use them, great. They're genuinely cheaper than delivery. If 3 sit uneaten every month, you're paying premium grocery prices to feel organized. Number 14, credit card annual fees you never earn back. That premium card promised lounge access, travel credits, and a status you were assured you'd feel. Then life happened. You flew twice, you used the credit once, and every year, quietly, it bills you a few $100s for a lifestyle you're not living. Premium cards can be genuinely excellent if you actually use the benefits. That's the whole sentence. The math only works if you're the person the card was designed for. So do the boring arithmetic once a year. Add up what the perks actually returned you and compare it to the fee. If the fee wins, downgrade the card. Don't cancel it outright. That can affect your credit history. Just ask to move to the no-fee version. Number 15. The storage unit. This one might be the most quietly absurd thing on the list. You are paying rent every month for objects that are not appreciating, objects you have not looked at in a year and in many cases cannot name. $145 a month is $1,700 a year. Over 5 years, that's more than $8,000. And I'd bet the entire contents wouldn't sell for $2. There's a name for this trap. It's the sunk cost fallacy wearing a padlock. Every month you keep paying because you already paid, and every month the stuff becomes more expensive to have kept. Go this weekend, open the door, take what genuinely matters, and let the rest go. That storage unit isn't holding your possessions. It's holding a decision you've been avoiding. Number 16. The home gym that became a clothes rack. The machine promised transformation. It's holding 2 jackets and a towel. And notice the pattern because we've now seen it 3 times. The gym membership, the language app, the exercise machine. These aren't purchases, they're subscriptions to a future version of yourself, and canceling one feels less like saving money and more like a confession. That's why they're so hard to kill. Nobody wants to admit the Spanish isn't happening. Here's your permission slip. Selling the machine doesn't sell the goal. Get the money back, use the money for something real, and let the goal be free of a $2,000 object staring at you every night. Number 17. Cheap things you have to buy twice. There's an old saying that deserves a place on your wall. Who buys cheap buys twice. The $40 boots you replace every winter cost you $400 a decade, plus 10 shopping trips, plus wet socks. The $150 pair that lasts 10 years costs $150. The cheap option is very often the expensive option wearing a discount sticker. But here's the deeper effect, and it's the reason this fights waste so well. When you buy things built to last, you stop shopping as a hobby. Replacement purchases are where enormous amounts of money quietly die. Rebuying, upgrading, replacing the thing that broke because it was built to break. Number 18. The logo tax. Somewhere in your closet is an item where you can identify almost exactly how much you paid for the fabric and how much you paid for the small symbol stitched onto it. I want to be careful here, because I'm not going to tell you that beautiful things are a waste. They're not. Craftsmanship is real. Design is real. If an object brings you joy every day for 10 years, it earned its price. But status doesn't, and the difference between the two is a question you can answer honestly in about 4 seconds. Would I still want this if nobody ever saw me with it? If the answer is no, you didn't buy an object, you rented an impression from people who, I promise you, spent that evening thinking about themselves. Number 19. Lottery tickets. I'm not going to be preachy about a $2 ticket. Hope is worth something, and I understand exactly what people are buying. But be honest about the exchange rate. You're not buying a chance at winning. Mathematically, that chance rounds to nothing. What you're buying is 72 hours of daydreaming about a different life. And if that's what you want, buy it consciously and buy a small amount of it. $20 a week is $1,000 a year. That same money, invested steadily across a working life, becomes a genuinely life-changing sum. Slowly, boringly, and with certainty rather than odds. The lottery sells you a fantasy about escaping your life. Compounding sells you the actual thing, just a lot slower and without the ticket. Number 20. The coin your friend won't stop talking about. Every few years, there's a new one. It goes up violently. Somebody you know makes money, tells everyone, and doesn't mention it again when it collapses. Here's the pattern, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. You never hear about these things at the bottom when they're cheap and boring. You hear about them at the top when they're expensive and everyone's euphoric. By the time enthusiasm reaches you, you're not early, you're the exit. Speculating with money you can genuinely afford to lose is a legitimate choice. Just be honest that it's speculation, size it so a total loss is survivable, and never confuse it with investing. Investing is what you do with the money you're not willing to lose. Number 21. Whole life insurance sold as an investment. This one costs the most and gets discussed the least because the people who sell it are paid extremely well to sell it. Insurance is for protecting people who depend on your income. That's it. That's the job. And for the vast majority of people, plain term life insurance does that job for a fraction of the price. Whole life bundles insurance with an investment product, and when you unbundle it, you'll usually find you're paying handsomely for mediocre returns while the commission comes out of your first years of premiums. If someone is showing you illustrations of a policy's growth in a document with a lot of columns, ask one question and watch what happens. What is your commission on this product, and what would term life plus an index fund cost me instead? Number 20. 2. The fees eating your investments. You could do everything in this video right and still lose $100,000 to a number printed in the fine print of a fund you never read. It's called the expense ratio. It's what the fund charges you every year, quietly, whether it makes money or not. And it sounds like nothing. 1%. Who cares? Here's who cares. Put $500 a month into a fund earning 7% for 30 years. With a 1% fee, you end up around $500,000. With a low-cost index fund charging almost nothing, you end up above $600,000. Same market, same money. Same 30 years. Over $100,000 gone into a fee you never saw leave. Go and look at what your investments charge you. It's a 5-minute task. It may be the highest paid 5 minutes of your entire life. Number 23. The time you're buying back from nobody. The last one isn't a subscription, it's the thing underneath all 22 others. Every purchase on this list was bought with hours. Hours you traded away in a building, doing something you'd rather not have been doing, so that money could arrive in an account and leave it again on autopilot. So the real question was never, can I afford this? You can almost always afford it. The real question is, how many hours of my life does this cost, and would I trade them for it if the price were written that way? Nobody prints that price tag. So print it yourself, take what you actually earn per hour after taxes, and divide. That storage unit isn't $145, it's most of a workday every month for a room you never enter. Once you start seeing prices in hours instead of dollars, about half of this list cancels itself. Now before we get to Chris, I want to say something, because a lot of advice like this is designed to make you miserable. I am not telling you to cancel the $12 music subscription that makes your commute bearable. I'm not telling you to stop seeing your friends, or to feel guilty about a coffee, or to strip every small pleasure out of a life you only get once. Cancel the $12 thing you love and you save $144 a year, and you make your life meaningfully worse. Cancel the storage unit you forgot about and you save $1,700 a year, and feel nothing but relief. That's the entire strategy. Find the big leaks, plug them, and keep the music. Most budgeting advice fails because it tells you to sacrifice 100 small joys while ignoring the 2 or 3 enormous things quietly draining you. Let me put all of this together on one normal person, because the arithmetic is what makes this real. Chris is 31, he earns a normal salary, drives a paid-off car, and would tell you, honestly, sincerely, that he doesn't waste money. He'd tell you he's careful. Then he sat down and did what I'm asking you to do. He pulled 3 months of statements and wrote down everything that recurred. Here's what he found. 3 streaming services he doesn't watch. $32 a month. 2 forgotten free trials that converted. $18. A subscription box arriving faithfully to a corner of his living room. $30. A cloud storage tier he upgraded to during a panic years ago. $10. Phone insurance on a phone that's 2 years old. $17. A premium credit card whose fees spread monthly runs $8. For lounges he's used once. A storage unit holding furniture from an apartment he left 3 moves ago. $145. And roughly half his food delivery habit, the mindless half on nights he wasn't even hungry. $45. Added up, $357 a month. Chris, careful, responsible Chris who doesn't waste money, was leaking $4,284 a year through holes he could not have named an hour earlier. Now here's what makes it hurt. He didn't get any of it, there was no vacation, no dinner he remembers, no joy. It was just gone. So Chris cancels, it takes him 1 Saturday morning and about 6 phone calls. He keeps his music subscription and 1 streaming service he actually loves, $28 a month and worth every cent. Then he does the one step almost everybody skips. He sets up an automatic transfer for that $357 the day after payday into a low-cost index fund, because money you free up and don't redirect just evaporates back into your life. If Chris keeps that up for 25 years at a 7% average return, that money becomes roughly $289,000. Give it 30 years and it's over $430,000. Chris didn't get a raise, he didn't work harder, he didn't sacrifice a single thing he actually enjoyed, he just stopped paying for things he'd forgotten he was paying for. That's it. That's the whole trick. So here's what I want you to do, and I want you to do it this week, not sometime. Open your bank statements from the last 3 months. Write down every recurring charge, every single one. Then sort them into 3 piles. Things you genuinely love and use, things you can't even identify, and things you're keeping because canceling them would mean admitting something. Cancel the second pile tonight. Be brave about the third. And whatever you free up, move it automatically the day after payday, somewhere it can actually grow. Then put a 15-minute reminder in your calendar to do this again in 6 months, because the leaks grow back if nobody's watching. Because remember how this started. You, on a couch, at the end of a year, promising yourself that next year would be different. Making that promise honestly, and then watching the money disappear anyway into a dozen holes you never looked at. Next year doesn't get different because you want it to. It gets different because one afternoon you finally opened the statement, looked at the holes, and plugged them. The bucket was never broken. It was just never checked.